Welcome to Cypher Software for California Schools. This is a run-it-yourself webinar presentation, meaning you control the timing, pause as you like, come back to it when you can. Thank you for joining us. We're here to talk about Cypher. Cypher is a new software for California public school districts that will save you time and money, increase employee efficiency, reduce and prevent costly errors, easily generate useful data and reports, and enhance communication between risk management, human resources, and payroll. So what is Cypher? Cypher is the only leave tracking and claims management software that's been specifically designed for California public school districts, that's K-12 and community college, to calculate education code leave benefits and integrate them, where appropriate, with workers' compensation benefits. So who is Telecon Solutions? Telecon Solutions is the company behind Cypher. Telecon Solutions is owned by me, Joseph Telezinski, and my partner, Carrie O'Connor. We are both workers' compensation and employment law attorneys, and we each have more than 15 years of experience representing California public school districts. And that's where the idea for this product originally came from, through our experiences working with public school districts. So our agenda includes the following topics. We'll begin with an overview of the software. We'll discuss specifically work statuses, reports, the task calendar, notes, the web-based cloud storage aspect, and security. So we begin with our overview. When using Cypher, you begin by entering all of the employee calendars used by that district. As you can see here, this is an example of just two calendars that have been entered, one for certificated employees and one for classified employees, in my fictional Anytown Unified School District. Here's one view of what that calendar will actually look like. This is a monthly view. You can also look at the year as a whole or drill down and look at a week or even just a day. On the left-hand panel is the calendar view, and you can see there where days have been noted as working days or unpaid holidays. On the right-hand panel, there's a summary of the entries that are in the calendar view. So you can see there that every Monday through Friday between August 3rd of 2015 and June 8th of 2018 were all entered on this calendar as scheduled working days. Then the holidays were entered on November 10th and November 23rd and 24th, which then replaced those days as working days, and now they are holidays. So you start with the general rule and then move to the exceptions. Once the calendars are created, then you can begin setting up your claims. Your first step is to input the claimant information. So here we have a claimant, Robert Smith. He likes to go by Bob. He's a groundskeeper in the maintenance department who is assigned to work at Betsy Ross Elementary School. Then we have his personal contact information, his address, phone numbers, emails, his personal details, date of birth, gender, those kind of things. Then we move into the employment details. Is he classified, certificated, other? Is he full-time, part-time, temporary, date of hire, those kind of things. And then the wage information. And the wage information, of course, is important because Cypher actually calculates the leave benefits that are due, and it needs wage information in order to do that. Once the claimant has been entered, then below that is the area that you're seeing here, which is the information that is entered as the claim is being worked. So the first section at the top includes any claims that Mr. Smith has. In this case, he has one date of injury, September 14, 2015, primarily involving his hand. You have contacts that are related to the claimant. Here we see his supervisor is Daniel Rodriguez. Then there are open activities, which are tasks that need to be accomplished. In this case, we have the date of the next doctor's appointment coming up, as well as the date the deposition has been scheduled, because this apparently is a litigated case. You have an activity history section, which are tasks that have been completed that you still may need to go back and review and look at. Then there at the bottom, we have the notes section, which is where you keep track of any forms, documents, communications, telephone calls, pretty much anything that you want to keep associated with this claimant. And this is displaying the tasks and the notes for all claims. If you wanted to look at only those associated with a specific claim, you would have to go to that claim by selecting it from the menu. So here we actually have Mr. Smith's claim, again noting the date of injury, September 14, 2015. This is an indemnity claim and is an industrial accident or illness leave type of claim. So you have your basic claim information, including the nature of the injury, the body parts involved, how it happened, what he was doing when it happened. A lot of information that you should be familiar with from your 5020 forms. And then below that we see the activity specifically related to this claim, the history, the notes, and then the work statuses. And work statuses are tied specifically to those claims to which they pertain. So the work status is shown here all relate to that particular date of injury. If he had another date of injury with work statuses that related to that, those would not show here. You would go to that claim and look there. So work statuses. Everything that Cypher does was originally constructed and built around tracking work statuses. Here's our first example of a work status, the good old regular duty, regular work. In this case, you have somebody that's probably been to the doctor, and the doctor said, go ahead and go back to your regular duties. You put in a start date and an end date, indicate any comments that you want to be able to remember later about this regular work order. Select the claim or claims that are involved. So if this order pertains to more than one injury claim, you'll be able to select all of the applicable ones. Indicate the date of the next doctor's appointment. That's going to have Cypher automatically generate a task on your calendar to remind you that the employee was scheduled for an appointment on that date, so that you don't lose track of those employees and have anybody fall through the cracks and get missed or lost. And then we can add any attachments. In this case, usually it'll be the PR2 form, the doctor's report with the off work order or regular duty order in this case, or whatever it may happen to be. And then everything is all together in one place in case you have to go back and look later. Super easy to find what you're looking for. Then we have the off work order. This is also fairly straightforward. You just indicate that it's off work, and again, the starting and ending dates. This time you may need to indicate whether or not a substitute employee was hired to cover those dates. This has to do with employees that are entitled to sub-differential benefits. So it may not apply in some cases. Then you enter your comments associated with the appropriate claims, indicate the date of the next doctor's appointment once again, and attach any reports or other documents associated with this specific order. Then we have the modified duty order. There are several different ways that this can go. So I've got 3 examples of how this information would be entered into the pop-up. Our first one here, we indicate that it's modified work, put the starting and ending dates, and then on the right-hand side, you can see that you indicate whether the person is on modified duty or off work due to the restrictions. In this case, the answer to both is no, meaning that even though the doctor gave restrictions, that modified duty is not required in this case. The employee can do their regular job without modification. So they are not on modified duty and thus not burning any number of modified duty days. If there's like a limited modified duty program, this will not count towards those days because, again, modified duty is not being provided. Part of modified duty is also a modification for a reduced work day. If that's the case, then you would indicate, yes, that it's a reduced work day. For example, a doctor who says that the employee can only work 4 hours a day, then you would select yes if that's less than their regular schedule. In this case, they're able to go back to their regular scheduled day. You enter any comments that you want to remember later, associate it with the appropriate claim or claims, indicate the date of the next doctor's appointment, and indicate the work restrictions given. Even if modified duty is not being provided, you still want to keep track of what restrictions were given by the doctor. And then finally, you add any attachments, the doctor's report, or anything else associated with this modified work order. Another example is where the employee is given modified duty, which is what we're looking at here. You can see on the right-hand side, on modified duty, yes has been selected. And that opened a field above it that was not there before, the location field. This allows you to enter a location where the modified duty is being performed. So if you have an employee who's usually food service or maintenance or something like that, and let's say they're working in the administrative office shredding paper or something, you can indicate the location where that modified duty work is being done and keep track of where those people are at. Other than that, everything is just the same as the prior screen, including whether there's a reduced workday, your comments, the associated claims, date of the next doctor appointment, the work restrictions, and any attachments. Our third and final example of a modified work order, again, enter the starting and ending dates. In this case, you can see on the right-hand side that the employee is not on modified duty because they will actually be off due to the restrictions. Now, this can mean either that the employee simply exhausted any available modified duty and now has to be off work because they still have restrictions, or it could be that their restrictions are so severe there isn't modified duty available and so they have to be off work. Because they're off work, The system again wants to know in the appropriate cases whether a substitute was hired, yes or no, and then add your comments, associate it with the appropriate claims, indicate the date of the next doctor's appointment, add the work restrictions, and add any of the attachments that you need to add. Once those work statuses have been entered into your setup claims on the calendars, then you have the ability to generate reports from that information. You'll have all of the data you need at your fingertips on a moment's notice with Cypher. This is an example of the analytics page. You can generate several different types of reports. You see here that we've selected the EdCode Benefits Paid report. You have the option of a number of different output types, pie charts, graphs, output to an Excel spreadsheet, several others. Once you've selected your output type, you will also select one or more fields to analyze depending on the type of report that you're generating. And then you will select a time period to analyze. So this could be a month, this could be a year. In the case of offices of education or superintendent of schools, the option is available to narrow this down to just one of the districts within that county. However, if you're just a single school district, that is an option you won't need to worry about. The employee type allows you to only look at classified or only look at certificated or only look at others if you like, in addition to the other fields that you've selected from. And you can also only look at the industrial leaves or the non-industrial leaves if you like, and keep those reports separated as well. Here's an example of what that report might look like. As you can see, it indicates EdCode Benefits Paid. It's color-coded. It's broken into percentages, and you can see that this was a report based on the department involved. So which departments are costing you the most in terms of EdCode leave benefits. Here you can see that 29.8% of all the EdCode benefits paid during the time analyzed was for one school site. And the second most, the 27.7%, is for the IT department. Again, this is just sample data to show you the capabilities. If this were a live view, you would also be able to hover over each section of the pie, and it would display for you the dollar amount associated with that total percentage of benefits paid. Now we move on to the task calendar. This is what keeps everyone from letting anything fall through the cracks, keeps you on track. So the task calendar, like work statuses, is a pop-up feature. Once you select it, you get this pop-up. You select the claim or claims that the task is associated with. There are various types of tasks that can be set. This one here is a reminder to send a notice. You enter the subject here, send FMLA notice. Each task is assigned to a user. The status can be open or closed. You assign a due date, and that's where it's going to show up on your calendar. You can indicate whether this is confidential and people without the appropriate permission do not get access to the information here. And then you can enter your description of what needs to happen with this task. And you can add any attachments that are appropriate. Once they're entered, you can see them on your task calendar. This is actually from the home page. You can see tasks that are on the calendar. On the left-hand side, you can change the view. You have yearly, monthly, weekly, and daily. Here we're looking at the yearly view. The dates coded in red are days where you have overdue tasks. The dates coded in yellow are tasks that are not completed but not yet due, so they're not overdue. And if there were any green ones on this example, those would be tasks that had been completed. On the right-hand panel, you see the information in a list that is displayed in the calendar view. You can also filter what is displayed. You can filter by which user is assigned to complete that task, the type of task, the status of the task. So if you only want to look at ones that are still open, then you can filter down and get rid of the ones that are already completed. And this is where you will keep track of whatever needs to be done, sending notices, dates of important events, depositions, hearings, whatever is going to help you keep track of that claim can be entered here. Here's the month view. Again, same thing, but a little easier to read. Then your weekly view, just by way of example, and you'll note that on the right-hand side, the tasks displayed are only the ones that are on the calendar view that is showing. So you're not seeing any more than what you're looking at right there. And then the daily view. We also have notes. Notes is where you keep track of everything else that doesn't have a specific date associated with it when it needs to happen or when it's going to happen. This is for your communications and other items. So when you want to create a note, you come to this screen that we looked at before, and you can select New Note, or you can also select Generate Letter or Form, and any templated documents that have been entered into the system can be created from here, auto-populated with information from within the system, name, address, dates, those types of things. And then when you're done, it's going to automatically save that document as a note into Cypher. When you go to create a note, it opens a pop-up. You're going to select which claim or claims that the note is associated with. The type of note could be a general note, phone call, correspondence, whatever it might be. Give it a subject, and then indicate whether this is a confidential note. Again, people who don't have permission won't be able to see it. Enter your note, or the description of your note, and then add any attachments. So if you're actually saving a document, a file, a photo, anything like that, it actually becomes part of the note that you are creating. Here's an example of a created form or document. This is the 5020 form. So the note type is form. The 5020 is attached, and it is just going to streamline that process for you of getting any documents associated with each claim. Cypher is a web-based cloud storage software. Basically, Cypher goes where you go. Cypher is a web-based software application with all its data stored in the cloud on secure servers. This means that users will have the ability to access data in the field, at an accident site, during administrative meetings, anywhere that you have internet access and have a need to either look in Cypher to maybe answer a question or even add data. Instead of having to wait till you get back to the office, you can enter information right there on the spot. This also is going to save the district from having to allocate server space and keep your IT personnel from having to spend the time to maintain the software and the data that goes along with it. We're going to take care of all that for you. Then we have security and the encryption of the data. The security is state-of-the-art. It's just like what is used in major banks and financial institutions. That's the level of security that we have. The data can only be accessed by trusted servers. We've got a firewall. We have a scalable, redundant network and server infrastructure. It's real-time monitoring of everything. Passwords are encrypted using SSL 256-bit encryption. It's all industry standard. We have user authentication requirements, permissions for different users to be able to access only the information that they need to access as a Cypher user. We keep records and logs of all of the activities done by all of the users. So there's a history, and you can go back and look and see who did what, when. All of the data is kept separate and segregated from any other Cypher clients. Again, we have strong encryption. Access is restricted only to trusted IPs and networks. So I hope that gives you a little better understanding of what Cypher is, what it does, and how it can help you. If you would like more information, please feel free to contact us at Telecon Solutions. The easiest way is email by emailing information at telecon, T-E-L-O-C-O-N, solutions.com, or calling us at our toll-free number, 844-4-CYPHER. That's Cypher with a Y, C-Y-P-H-E-R. That's also 844-429-7437. We do have a physical address there on the screen you can see, but that's the least easy way to reach us, although we are here if you come or send us something. All right. Well, thank you very much. I look forward to hearing from you with your questions or your interest in finding out more about how to become a Cypher user. And I wish you all a pleasant day. Take care.